Good drive for the Fort Morgan Mustangs off the Brush Beat Digger turnover. They traveled 17 yards, 4 plays in about a minute 20. Isaac Rodriguez from a yard out, and Fort Morgan now leads Brush 29-14. It's amazing. Second half starts almost the same way as the first half. Big mistake. One on special teams in the first half, one on offense in the second half. And we know that these mistakes have killed the Beat Diggers so far tonight, but they came back in the first half. Let's see what they can do. Zach Green, low line drive kickoff. And Shea Hansen feels it at the 8, straight ahead to the 20, running left to the 25, has it seam to the outside to the 30-yard line. Puts up at around the 31, a return of 23 yards. Brian Woods, the 5'7", 135-pound junior, makes the tackle. That's where the Beat Diggers start at their own 31-yard line.
Nice run back there by Shea. Tried to cut it to the outside. Just kind of got shoestring tackled right there. Last guy to beat.
First and 10 for the Beat Diggers at their own 31. Yeah, if he gets by him, then it could be a lot more daylight. First and 10 with a football at the 31-yard line. Garcia with a back split. Going to hand it off to Seawald. Hit behind the line of scrimmage and loses a yard. It looked like the Mustangs sent a linebacker, and that would be Mike Mesney. Check that Nick Fluhoff they're calling it. I saw 54 in there, which would be Mesney, 5'8", 145-pound sophomore. Anyway, it's second down and 11 from the 31.
He's actually, I think he's a defensive end, so he's up there on that line of scrimmage, and boy, he come across there in a hurry.
Yep, he is lining up as a defensive end. Ball just outside the Beat Digger 30. Second down and 11. Down by 15 with 9.5 to go in the third. The backs are split. Garcia, the quarterback, will hand it off to Seawald right up the gut, but he doesn't have much. He's running hard, but he's down at around the 33 for a gain of 3. And the first Mustang in on the tackle was Ryan Hoffman, the 5'11", 175-pound senior. And we'll call it third down at about 9.
Yeah, Brush just trying to pound that ball up the middle a little bit and get some confidence in that offensive line. But like we said, Fort Morgan, that defensive line's coming across hard, and they're sending some linebackers, making that run in tough.
Third and 9, just shy of the 33. Garcia rolling to his right, looking to run. Swings it to the outside. Pressure coming. Throws on the run. Pass is incomplete. TJ Kukas had a step it around the 42-yard line, but he was defended over there by Chris Dermer. And for the first time in the game, the Beat Diggers are going to be forced to punt.
Yep, that's a tough one. Garcia drops to 1 for 5 tonight for 10 yards. And he ran it out there to the side. It almost looked like he was going to take off and just run it straight ahead because they had 2 guys out there on coverage on that play, and there just wasn't a lot of throwing room there.
C.J. Kukas is the Beat Digger punter. I tell you what, Dave, he displays a nice arm. I mean, Garcia's got a cannon. He threw that on the run. Nice spiral, about 35 yards. And it still has some fly to it. C.J. Kukas with Ian Moreno deep. C.J. Kukas standing at his own 19. He gets the snap. There's the pressure. Wobbly punch. It's going to bounce it around the 31-yard line. Take a huge Beat Digger roll inside the 15. Bobbled at the 11 and down and around the 12. Beat Diggers got back there on special teams. Connor Weiser makes the tackle on Ian Moreno. Boy, that was an impressive punt. And officially, that goes for 56 yards.
It was a beautiful punt. It was a tight spiral, but if everyone at home could just imagine it, it wasn't like it was that high up in the air. It kind of had a little bit of wind behind his back, but such a tight spiral that it just flew right down the right hash mark of the field and took a nice bounce once it got there.
First and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 13-yard line. They're in control of this game now with 8:37 to go in the third quarter, leading 29-14. Now let's see if they try to grind it out and get the Beat Digger defense a little bit fatigued on that end rather than go upstairs with a throw. In the Maryland eye, Garrett Pape will hand it off to the second man through, and a big hole for Devin DeRoche across the 20, and that it might actually be Randy Colway. And it is across the 20 to the 22 before he's spun down by a couple of the Beat Diggers. It's a gain of 9, and that's got to be the strategy you figure now for Fort Morgan. Why even try to throw the ball too much if they could do what they just did on that first play?
You know, I'm sure they've been able to accomplish some of their goals of giving whichever team they have to give this film to in the future plenty of things to work on. And they're going to come out. They got that Maryland eye going, and they're going to come out and just smash that football until Brush makes them throw it.
Brandon Rutherford was in on the play. 2nd down and 1 from the 22. There's the handoff, and hit in the backfield is DeRoche, and he's not going to get out of the backfield. Derek Lynch had the first hit, and then it was cleaned up by other Beat Diggers. Back at around the 21-yard line, it's a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd down and about a long 2.
Just a great play there, and it was one of those things where you looked at the Brush defenders and you weren't quite sure they were even set, ready to go, but they were sure in the right spot, and those kids made a good play on that one.
3rd down and 2 to go from the 21-yard line. 7:23 to go, 3rd quarter. I'm John Beltran with Dave Urich. Fort Morgan leads Brush 29-14 in the opener of the 2009 Colorado High School football season. And Pape back to throw, rolling right, lobs it underneath. That pass is caught at the 25, over to around the 30-yard line. That'll be a 1st down. It'll be a pickup of around 9 yards in the play for Shea Hansen makes the tackle. And that reception over there was made by Devin DeRoche. Boy, Pape has such nice touch on the football.
He sure does. He just floated it right over the top of the Brush defender. And Derek Lynch was right there. He was making the play, but it was just such a beautiful pass. And like I said, it's not like Pape really tries to throw it on the money to anybody. He just kind of throws it up in the air and gets it in the area where he lets his receivers make a play.
1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 30-yard line. Pape is back to throw, looking and throwing to his right, complete to DeRoche to the 35, to the right sideline to the 40, and now Brandon Rutherford tackles him right along the sideline at around the 43-yard line. It's a gain of 13, and another Fort Morgan Mustang 1st down as they're keeping this Brush Beat Digger defense extremely honest.
Yeah, they are, and they're keeping them off balance. And they threw it twice over here on this side to DeRoche, who wasn't a target for a pass in the whole first half.
For great family entertainment, check out Fire Lanes, 220 Cambridge and Brush. Walk in and reserve your time today. And for all of your auto supply needs, stop by Central Auto Parts in Fort Morgan. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 43. And let's see, we do have an official timeout with 6:40 to go in the 3rd. And the Mustangs holding a 15-point cushion on the Beat Diggers. The big play of the second half was a fumble on the very first play from scrimmage by the Beat Diggers, and that led to a 17-yard drive. 1st and 10 for the 43. Pape on the pitch left to Isaac Rodriguez. Swings it to the outside. The Beat Diggers are there to make the play. Now before Rodriguez gets to the 47-yard line and picks up 4 yards. And the play was made by Skyler Seawald. I'll give him 5 yards in the play. I mean, that was a well-run play for the 5 yards.
It sure was, but I'll tell you what, I thought Brush did a good job of defending it because they ran it all the way from the near hash mark from the Fort Morgan side of the field. They ran it all the way from this hash mark to the other side, and the Diggers did a good job of stringing that thing out and keeping him from turning the corner.
2nd down and 5 to go for the 48-yard line. In the Maryland eye are the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Pape will hand it off to the D-back, running right and a yard for Isaac Rodriguez. He is thrown down to the turf. Shea Hansen had the penetration, and then Kyle Muir and C.J. Kukas cleaned it up. They might give him the 50, and we'll give him a gain of 2, but that's a generous 2. It'll be 3rd down and 3, but then again, a nice situation here for Fort Morgan, although the Beat Diggers came up nice defensively.
They sure did. They did a good job of coming up and making the tackle. On that Maryland eye, it's one of Brush's favorite plays out of the formation, where they send their first 2 guys over on the right side and try to kick the defensive end out. They block everybody else down and try to cut it up off tackle. And Brush just did a good job of filling there and closing that thing up.
3rd and 3. Pape to throw over the middle of the pass is caught by Weevil, and he's got a 1st down inside the 40 to around the 35-yard line. Boy, he used that big frame to wrestle that away from a Beat Digger defender for a gain of 16.